I have to be honest, I wasn't going to do this video, but this morning, having seen yet another interview with Piers Morgan spouting on about America and its guns, and that interview with Alex Jones, I felt I had to. Now, straight off the bat, I want to say that I'm a Brit, and I cannot stand Piers Morgan. I think he's a conceited, arrogant, narcissistic thug. I even made a video entitled "A Message to Piers Morgan, Shut the Hell Up, Re-Guns in America." If America ever did deport him, I'd be one of the first at the airport, along with thousands of others no doubt, asking the plane to turn around. We don't want him back. The only saving grace is that if he does ever come back to Britain, hopefully he'll be arrested straight away on phone hacking charges. He's a disgusting man, in my opinion. Now, when I heard that Alex Jones was going to appear on Morgan's show, I was generally excited. I'd seen Morgan's interview with Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America and was horrified with the way Morgan handled the interview, especially when he started calling Larry Pratt an unbelievably stupid man.
The problem in our cities and unhappily in our schools, where people like you have been able to get laws put on the books that keep people from being able to defend themselves. I honestly don't understand why you would rather have people be victims of a crime than be able to defend themselves. It's incomprehensible.
You're an unbelievably stupid man, aren't you?
It seems to me that you're morally obtuse. You seem to prefer being a victim to being able to prevail over the criminal element. And I don't know why you want to be the criminal's friend.
Now, I've been aware of Alex Jones for several years, and although I don't agree with everything he says, I have to admit that he does fish out some good information, and let's be honest, he has arguably done more than most to wake people up out of their media-induced slumber. I'd rather listen to Alex than the drivel that passes for television any day. Well, Jones started on the show quite well, but it soon turned into a rage. Shouting over Morgan, not letting him ask any questions, pointing in Morgan's face. God only knows how many times Morgan said, "Alex, Alex." Morgan just couldn't get a word in edgeways. Jones was literally foaming from the mouth, as you can see from these clips.
Guns in America. It's not escaped the notice of supporters of gun rights, and it's led to a petition on the White House official website, no less. It's entitled, and I quote, "Deport British citizen Piers Morgan for attacking Second Amendment." Take a look. More than 104,000 people have signed it so far. And joining me now is one of the people behind the petition, Alex Jones. He's host of the Alex Jones Show. Welcome to you.
Piers, thanks for having me.
Why do you want to deport me?
Well, we did it as a way to bring attention to the fact that we have all of these foreigners and the Russian government, the official Chinese government. Mao said political power goes out of the barrel of a gun. He killed about 80 million people because he's the only guy that had the guns. So we did it to point out that this is globalism, and the mega banks that control the planet and brag that they've taken over, in Bloomberg, AP, Reuters, you name it, brag that they're going to get our guns as well. They've taken everybody's guns but the Swiss and the American people. And when they get our guns, they can have their world tyranny, while the government buys 1.6 billion bullets, armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, Predator drones, armed, now in U.S. skies, being used to arrest people in North Dakota. The Second Amendment isn't there for duck hunting. It's there to protect us from tyrannical government and street thugs. Take the women in India. Your piece earlier on CNN I was watching during Anderson Cooper's show didn't tell you that the women of India have signed giant petitions to get firearms because the police can't and won't protect them. Those men raped that woman in India to death with an iron rod 4 feet long. You can't ban the iron rods. The guns, the iron rods, Pierce, didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand?
You finished?
Yes, I am finished. You will not take my right. You go through background checks to get guns. How about Prozac? You know the number one, oh, that's the big sponsor, isn't it? Or that whole class of drugs.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, got to cut that off, don't you? Don't want to talk about the U.S. number one cause of death is suicide now because they give people suicide mass murder pills.
Calm down.
Your answer is give more money to the psychiatrists and psychologists to put more crazy people on drugs that make them kill people, Piers.
Let's try and have a debate here.
Yeah. Of Europe, London Telegraph. Here, let me give you
quite
more.
Simple question. question.
Well, that's the oldest.
You're a very loud man.
No, that's the
You
oldest
make a
Perry
lot of
Mason
noise.
tactic to ask me some little factoid.
It's not a little factoid.
I already said earlier,
We're talking about
England has a lot lower gun crime rate because you took all the guns.
Let me try exactly
but
my
you've
point.
got hordes of people burning down cities and beating old women's brains out every day.
What a ridiculous
They arrest
statement.
people in England if they defend themselves. That's on record. My God, you have got a total police state. Everybody's fleeing that country. Now fake stories. You're a hatchet man of the New World Order.
Okay.
You're a hatchet man. And I want to say this right here. You think you're a tough guy? Have me back with a boxing ring in here, and I'll wear red, white, and blue, and you can wear your Jolly Roger.
Okay.
You know what?
Let's try again. How many gun murders? Okay.
I just gave you FBI statistics
Fine.
that violent crime
Alex,
and gun crime is down over 20%.
Alex, let me just ask you
And
this.
you want to go to little factoids.
No, they're not little
Anybody
factoids.
can pull those up. Listen.
Do you know what...
Do you have a bodyguard?
Alex.
Why do you have bodyguards?
I don't have a bodyguard.
Yeah, I've seen you on the news with them. Don't
don't
you
have
want
a
to protect
bodyguard.
your wife from hoodlums, or you want to call the police?
Let me ask you this question.
Why does Dianne Feinstein
Alex.
tell 60
Alex.
Minutes that she
Okay,
plans
Alex.
to try
Alex.
to take Mr. and Mrs. America's guns?
Stop
Have you seen that
talking
cut?
over me.
You
Let
guys
me-
want to disarm all of America.
No, I don't.
Dianne Feinstein's
don't.
bill does.
I don't.
Gun confiscation.
No, let me clarify for you. You don't seem to understand
First
what
you
it
read-
is.
When a mother chops
Alex.
her kids up with a cleaver
Alex.
because she's on serotonin.
Alex, tell me why I'm wrong.
Why don't
about
you want to
the
get rid of the drugs?
AR-15s.
Because they're half your sponsors?
No, stick to the subject.
America's #1 cause of unnatural death now is suicide.
Okay. Alex,
not
let's try
automobile
again.
accident, not cancer, not...
You
Listen,
accuse me of attacking the Second Amendment of the Constitution.
I want to get people off pills that the insert says will
Alex,
make you commit suicide and kill people.
Alex, let's get about to the Second
I
Amendment.
want to blame
Alex,
the real culprit.
Alex.
Suicide pills.
Alex.
Mass murder pills.
Okay, let me ask you one question.
Now, having watched the footage a few times, I felt so deflated. I could tell that yet another opportunity for Jones to hit back against the creeping authoritarianism that is sweeping our planet had just gone begging. Sure, Jones supporters in the media and the guys that work for him, you know, they're going to put a good spin on his performance, but they would, wouldn't they? Jones only succeeded in making himself look insane, wide-eyed and insane. There isn't any other word for it. Jones's supporters will clap and cheer and say how great he did and how right he was on this and that, etc. But the average person, the type that we need to reach out to about what's going on around them, to wake them up to the corruption that's going on, well, Jones has just pushed his message even further away from them. I asked several people in the pub last night if they'd seen the interview. None had actually seen the whole interview, just snippets on the news or the radio, and everybody said that Jones just sounded mad. What was that god-awful English accent part about?
So on that.
So the Bush administration was part of a conspiracy
Well,
to
he
murder,
said never let us tolerate
to murder thousands of Americans.
I can speak in this accent as well.
Yeah.
The
But is that what you
government,
believe?
Hitler firebombed his own Reichstag, Piers, to bring in martial law in Germany, April 27th, 1933. Governments have staged terror attacks throughout history or allowed terrorists to attack as a pretext to invade
many guns
and
do you own?
enslave
How many
the
guns do you own?
populations. I probably own more than 50 firearms. Many of them have increased in value 2, 3, or even 4 times.
I feel so sorry having to say this, but Jones may as well have come out on stage with a rubber nose, massive shoes and a flower that squirts water. I've always thought that people who think that Jones is an agent are just there to divide the truth movement. But in my opinion, as you can see by my view counter, no one actually watches these videos, so my opinion doesn't account for a lot. But in my opinion, I think Jones has done more in this one interview to harm any so-called truth movement than anyone could have dreamed of. Jones has played a blinder for the establishment. They couldn't have asked for a worse performance from him. They must be laughing all the way. Jones has completely discredited himself. On reflection, I believe he realises the damage he's done and now wants to make amends because he's offering Morgan a second debate, this time to be structured. Although I would love this to happen, I just can't see it happening. Morgan has the upper hand without really doing anything, such was Jones's rant. How many interviews has Morgan done since he interviewed Jones? And in every one, he's saying that Jones is a great example why insane people like him shouldn't have guns. Oh, Alex, what have you done?